No map showed the village of Grey Hollow. Yet, every traveler who lost their way in the northern woods eventually found it. Ethan arrived just before sunset. The road vanished behind him as if the forest had swallowed it whole. The village appeared suddenly. Crooked houses, broken windows, and a thick gray fog clinging to the ground like a living thing. There were no birds, no insects, only silence. The villagers watched him from behind their doors. Their eyes were dark, empty, and unblinking. When Ethan asked for directions, an old woman slowly raised her finger and pointed toward the center of the village. She did not speak. At the village square stood a stone well. It was covered in strange symbols, carved so deeply they looked burned into the rock. Ethan felt a pull in his chest as he approached it, like something below was calling his name. As night fell, the fog thickened. Lamps lit themselves without fire. Shadows moved where no bodies stood. Ethan heard whispers, dozens of voices speaking in a language he did not know, yet somehow understood. Do not sleep, do not listen, do not look into the well. But when midnight came, the bell rang on its own, and every door in Grey Hollow opened at once. The villagers stepped outside together, moving like puppets pulled by invisible strings. Their mouths opened, and the same voice spoke from all of them at once. It is time. Ethan tried to run, but the ground beneath him turned soft, almost breathing. Hands rose from the fog, cold, gray, and trembling, and grabbed his legs. He screamed as they dragged him toward the well. The stone symbols began to glow red. Ethan looked inside the well. It was not deep. It was endless. Faces stared back at him, hundreds of them, twisted in agony. He recognized some from the village. Others were strangers. All of them were screaming silently. At the center of the darkness, something moved. Something vast, ancient. The truth flooded his mind. Grey Hollow was not a village. It was a prison, and the villagers were its locks. The creature beneath the well needed new eyes, new hands, new voices. The fog rushed upward like a tidal wave. Ethan felt his thoughts shatter, his memories dissolve. The last thing he saw was the old woman smiling. At dawn, the fog faded. A new villager stood in the square, staring blankly into the forest, waiting for the next traveler to lose their way. Days passed, or maybe years. Time no longer mattered in Grey Hollow. Ethan stood among the villagers, his face pale, his eyes empty. He watched the forest without blinking, just like the others. Inside his mind, something whispered constantly, guiding his thoughts, shaping his memories, hollowing him out piece by piece. Yet somewhere deep inside, a fragment of Ethan still existed. At night, when the fog thickened and the well pulsed with red light, he remembered screams, his own. The creature beneath the village fed on fear, but it also fed on forgetting. That fragment resisted. One evening, a young traveler stumbled into Grey Hollow. She looked terrified, lost, desperate for help. Ethan felt something twist painfully in his chest. Turn back, he tried to say. The words came out wrong. Welcome. The bell rang. The villagers gathered again, but this time the well trembled violently. Cracks spread across the stone, and black liquid seeped from the symbols. The creature was waking, angrier than before. Ethan stepped forward. For the first time, he looked into the well willingly. Instead of screaming faces, he saw himself, over and over, trapped, begging. The fragment inside him burned bright, stronger than the whispers. He understood the truth at last. The village didn't need new villagers. It needed a sacrifice. Ethan smiled at the traveler and gently pushed her away from the well. Then he stepped into the darkness himself. The fog screamed. At dawn, Grey Hollow was gone. Only ruins remained. No houses, no well, no villagers. The traveler awoke alone in the forest, convinced it was all a nightmare. Far beneath the earth, something slept again. But deep in the shadows, Ethan opened his eyes, watching, waiting, because prisons never last forever.